This video is about For me, drawing on cardboard means that I don't really hesitate like I do when I'm drawing on paper. Sometimes paper's just too bright, it's too clean. So to have something which is packaging and it's actually contributing to something which goes in the bin, not contributing to, but it's one of those, pieces of rubbish that you just throw away. It means that there's no risk, there's no pressure. I can just draw whatever I like and play around on there. It becomes a place where it's free from all of the pressures that I find when I'm drawing on paper, and I think that my drawing isn't going to live up to what it should do in order to justify wasting the surface of the paper. It just gives me that freedom. Why don't we use cardboard in more interesting ways? It's all surfaces with texture. I mean, some of it comes white and glossy like this, but it has a little window. So curious. And you can use that to show things. Like if you drew something on here, you could show it through there. May not sound interesting, but think about the white surface compared to this. I mean, it's got speckles, it's mid-tone already, it's got these grooves in it, which means that you can either reconstruct it or you can change it into something else completely. It's just so many interesting options. I like cardboard for things like that. Now, I'm convinced that the drawings that I do on cardboard are ones that I wouldn't be able to do on paper, even if I tried. There's just a different mindset when it comes to doing something which starts off like a doodle, and then when it becomes something where you think this is actually going okay, and you start to take it a bit more seriously, then it becomes a legitimate drawing, despite the surface. I don't think that a drawing is something which is on an expensive piece of paper and a doodle's on cardboard. It could be either one. I mean, look at the windows in just this pizza box. You could really turn this into something. Imagine peeking through the window. And once you have that, you could do the whole body. It's the possibilities. Some pieces of cardboard are just crying out to be used in more interesting ways. This could go in the bin, but I really think it's worth something now. I like this. It's rare that I like my own work, but I like this. It's fun. Look at this. Look at that for a box. It's just got so many interesting holes in it. I think if I turn this all inside out and draw around it, the gaps will make the drawing look more interesting. Cardboard has so many different options to it. So many interesting things that you can inject into that space. Now paper, I've got nothing against paper. I love a nice sheet of paper to draw on, but it's so clean and so bright. Cardboard isn't. It's destined for the bin. It's already toned most of the time. It's got little speckles and blemishes in it. It makes it really interesting. So before it goes in the bin, think about what you can maybe do with it. So when it comes to having that permission to play, I think that cardboard really helps with that mindset. And that's what I think is the most healthy part of drawing, and trying to push yourself to have fun and to explore your creativity on the surface. This is why I think that cardboard is in a unique position to free you from all of the constraints and the pressures of the judgment you put on yourself and that you're scared that others might put onto your work. That's certainly things which I've had to try to overcome. I think it's why I find it easier to draw in public. I know that might sound counterintuitive, but because it's in public, you have to get over it and just draw it, whatever it is you're drawing or painting. Whereas if you're doing it privately, you don't have that pressure to begin and continue. So this is why I think that there's interesting types of cardboard and shapes that you can really use to create some opportunities for making different types of images and just trying things out and experimenting. images that you might not normally draw, just things that you think it might be worth a study. And yeah, you don't have a sketchbook full of different bits and pieces, but I don't really know if that matters. For me, I think drawing things which you don't even plan is part of the beauty and the freedom of art making. Now, for example, this drawing that I'm doing here, I have no idea what I'm drawing in this piece. I just start drawing and just let my own feelings dictate where the marks go. And I still don't know what it is. I couldn't tell you. I mean, I could start to make up what it is and create a story, but that's what I quite like about pieces like this. They become their own kind of their own folklore and their own story behind them. You can create the background, something where you think, well, I believe this belongs to a universe where this is true. And to me, that's just as valuable as anything else. To find something where people want to inject their own ideas into it is a really exciting and satisfying and fulfilling process or experience. And that's what I think these drawings do. I don't draw like this on paper. I do drawing on paper and it's okay, it's fine, but I certainly don't find this type of freedom in drawing. Now, maybe that's a bad thing and I should start trying to do this on paper, but I assure you, you can trust me on the fact that if you draw on cardboard and you have any kind of reluctance with paper, you will find that there is a freedom with drawing on cardboard. Now, it can be complete and utter experimentation. I mean, look at this. This is literally just mark making for the sake of experimenting and pushing around colours and tones and marks, just making a mess and scrubbing it around. That is part of the freedom, whether it's ink or pencil. And sometimes it can just be a gift for the one that you love. Now, I decided to go into the loft and bring down some of my drawings that I've done on cardboard, and I've done a lot. It's really quite significant in my opinion. It's lots of different things from ink drawings to paint pens, bits of charcoal and pencil drawings. All of these things have helped me to expand my knowledge and express myself creatively. Like some of it is just doodles combined with part portraits. Some of the things are partly abandoned and others just bits of ideas. Like a lot of these you can see have been splattered with coffee, which is a bit of a thing that happened during my second year of uni. That was on a piece of kind of a hand towel that I got from an event. But yeah, all of these studies, they really mean a lot to me because I think these are all showing how I take an interest in different characters and different approaches and just trying to expand my skill set. And some of them are just bookmarks, bits on envelopes as well. I see that as similar to cardboard, as things that you would throw in the bin, but I quite like to just play around with it. So all of these I just find as fun and interesting and a bit of creative expression. And a lot of them are just bits of doodles that have been abandoned. These studies really add up and they can contribute to a collection or part of a thought process that you want to play out. I like to do things where I create characters and frame other characters, or I start to make marks that can create a reality which wasn't there before, let out my frustration when I feel trapped, or just try to do something which I think is some part of a growth process where I've not done it before, and I'm trying to create something where I feel that this is now adding to my kind of library of images that I've created. Sometimes boxes can be reconstructed after you've drawn them, and they become this whole new product that you've created. So that's not the branding which the original packaging is, but you've got your own ideas injected into it. A lot of this stuff is just play, but that play is added to the growth of what I can actually draw and consider to be a drawing. So if I ever get asked to do a drawing on paper, I have all these experiences of drawing, and not just drawing. You can do things where this is oil pastel on the cardboard, and it's just a little cartoonish study, but it's still just, I started off with oil pastel and then it turned into painting, and it's not finished here, it's half finished, but it's just part of that fun and that play. It's something which I was trying to plan out for a larger painting, and this is the thing, is you can plan out images, and you can do this on paper as well, but try it on cardboard, because if you do, you'll find that you don't hold this kind of reverence that you do for paper, especially really clean, expensive paper. I find it can happen with sketchbooks. But yeah, this combination of studies and ideas, small or large, or even more explicit, can really be quite a nice way to explore what you're capable of.